Yeah, and talking about that, and this goes back to another episode that happened recently. I was talking to somebody, and this was a CISO who was being asked by a panel of students, right? And these are not STEM students, and they're looking at cybersecurity as a career. And they were asking him, saying, "Hey, would you take a chance on us?" Right? And what he said was very interesting. He says, "Yes, what if I take a chance on you? So I bring you on board and I give you the necessary training for 6 months, and 2 months later, you leave to my competitor for twice the salary, right? Would you stay with me for 2 years if I invest in you?" And there was a pregnant pause in the room, apparently, right? Because people haven't had this kind of frank dialogue saying, "Okay, so I'm taking a chance on you, I'm willing to do it. Would you take a chance on joining the organization, be there for a committed amount of time?" So where do these conversations really happen? Because we never really talk about these things, and there's backroom chatter that happens obviously within the CISA community saying, "Hey, did you take a chance on so and so, and how did that work out?" And then we go back into a shell, or like you said, giving a chance to this bartender, and she kicking ass as a starting as a tech writer and now doing really well. So how do we kind of break that barrier, if you will, in terms of taking the chance, and yet there has to be quid pro quo saying, "Okay, I'm investing in you, you got to be here at least for a while."
Well, there's two pieces to that. When I was working for Time Warner Cable, when I was the CISO there, we had a program where we had people come in, and I brought interns in, right? Like school, and they didn't always have to be like security focused, interns, right? But we brought them into things that they were excited about, whether it was security program management or compliance, and we fit it to their skill sets. But we also sat down and learned what they wanted to do. Right. Some people thought they wanted to be pen testers until I sat them with the pen testers overnight. And the next day they come and go, "I don't ever want to do that." Right. Yeah. So it's those kinds of things that it is. But when you talk about taking that chance on them, right, we actually said, "Here, if you want to come as an intern, we'll pay you for 6 months, see where you fit. We'll let you sit in different areas and try things out." Or, right, you bring somebody in and say, "Here is a 2-year plan. Right? You're going to cycle through these different areas. We're going to pay you whatever. Just to make it up, we're going to pay you $50,000 a year. Right? At the end of 6 months, we'll give you an additional increase. At the end of 6 months, we'll give you, and we'll make it worth your while to stay." And then after 2 years, if they decide to go and decide to grow, it's my fault too, because I'm not giving them the opportunity to grow somewhere else internally potentially, or they're going to leave anyway. It happens. It's part of the nature of the beast. But you have to make sure you find a way to at least keep them into a program or into a growth opportunity that you have that 2 years. Because what I have the conversation is, if you want to jump after 6 months and go somewhere else, even if I train you, it doesn't look good on your resume. It doesn't look good as you move ahead. So it's more than just the job. It's that persona you're building of yourself, right? It's your resume. And you want to look at your resume to look at growth. And so it's performance management, working with them, and truly partnering with them.
Got it. Now, switching gears to something called that is again in the news all the time, which is certifications, right? And there's a few people that have told me, "Hey, certification just to show that you can crack an exam. It doesn't show anything about the ability to actually do well in the job," and others who swear by that. So, what's your take? I mean, have certifications kind of become a baseline without which you don't go anywhere, or have you seen that the effectiveness of somebody in the job is not reflective of the certs that he or she has?
The answer is yes, right? It's not certifications. Some are better than others, right? Some are true cracking a test. Some people can't take tests. They could be the smartest security person in the world, but can't take a test, right? So, certifications add some value to your rigor, to the way that you actually approach your job, and show that, hey, I have passion in this area, right? I'm going to get certified. I want to learn more. I want to be the best of the best at what I do. And that's, to me, that's a lot of what the certifications are, right? Is showing that ability to grow. The other piece, the other side of certification sometimes, though, is that people are posting jobs saying they're entry level, but want certifications, which people can't get yet because they don't have enough experience. So it's this big mix of, do they add value? I think they do. Do I hire based on them? Does Tammy hire based on them? No, I don't hire based on degree or on certifications, which I can't because I don't have a degree. So that would be, but I do have, I do have my my CISM from ISACA, but I don't have any others. I have my ITIL certification as well. But like I said, that's it. The rest of me is self-taught.
And a lot of that is also interesting, right? Talking to people, it's like their own journeys sometimes help them relate to people and be able to help them. But what if, again, talking about the diversity of thinking, diversity of thought in the cybersecurity community is now becoming, I mean, it's no longer just a board mandate. It's like I've had like earlier conversations earlier today, and with two CISOs, and both were saying it's like, hey, our adversaries are diverse, right? They collaborate over different channels, the dark web, the physical locations, and so forth. So unless we are able to have equal amount of diversity to be able to contend with that, it's no longer just a board level mandate. But again, going back to, but it takes people to unlearn and relearn, right? To be able to say, okay, this is how we've hired. We've gone to Ivy League colleges and we looked for 5 years of experience before we hire. And now we have to go and look at community colleges or look for people without degrees. So how have you seen people who've been in the industry for a while now realizing that maybe the way they've done it is no longer palatable and they have to unlearn?
Yeah, security has always been a learning and unlearning and relearning process for years, right? It's changed. I mean, even if you go back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's changed a lot. Even the way we've approached hiring, the way we've approached our teams. I personally hire people a lot smarter than me and very diverse in what they know, because I have to rely on a team, right? I rely on the experience that we build. But as we grow teams and as we build organizations, we have to add those additional skill sets and the different mindsets coming in. I think that sometimes what we forget is that some of the things we thought of might have been best practice, whether it's hiring process, procedures, documentation, you name it, might have been really good a couple of years ago, but it's really good to always refresh and take a look at. I always say it's like when you're in your living room and you look at the same color wall paint for so long, you're like, it'd be really nice to look at a different color blue. I mean, it's just that kind of thing. But it gives you a different perspective on how the room looks, right? Or how the vision looks moving ahead. And I think more and more CISOs, you have to realize the CISO role has changed so much. So what we do as a CISO, my skill set is completely different than some of these other CISOs coming into the industry that might have a college degree, but no business experience, right? Or we have a ton of business experience, but might not have enough technology experience. So we have a really unusual mix of CISOs right now.
Wow. Yeah, no, again, that definitely helps bringing in different perspectives also, right, as we get into the industry. So, Tammy, again, thanks for your time. It's been amazing just seeing how you've evolved both from your own journey. I know we talked when you were at Manify and then at Accenture and now at Cyalign. So, again, thanks for everything that you do and good luck.
Thanks. I'm having a lot of fun. So we'll just keep it going. Hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.